on. It's set in stone. We have to move you all up a rank within the month. 3 more knots arrive here within the week, and the Dominar arrives before autumnal sounding. When he arrives, all initiates are to be sworn in, and all sworn are to assume their apprenticeships to their colors. Grandise Elphar was talking to our knot in our lodgings. Artis sat on the edge of her bed with her mouth firm, like she was worried about how this would work. And Ola and Ora had stopped teasing each other long enough to put on intent expressions.
"You can't be serious, Grandise,"
Leonora said. It was always the children of nobility who felt free to talk to teachers like that. I've only been sworn for a month, Artis for only 6. We should have at least a year or 2 before we are taken on by the colors. What about our mentorship roles? What about mastering the lore? Grandise Elphar sighed. Things change, child. In my day, there would be years before you could even be trusted to fly formation on your own. And last week, we let your knot fly alone. A knot with 3 initiates, I would add. In my day, there was as much book learning as practical work, and we took the measure of each writer with care. Now, she shook her head, now we push you, and we break those not strong enough to endure. There's too much waste, but there is nothing we can do. The initiates in this group will be sworn in. First, they will face examinations. Leonora, Artis, as the only sworn in the Fist, you will take on their mentorship. You will drill them and teach them and be sure to get them ready to be tested. Your own test, to enter the colors, is of a different variety. The only preparation for it is the preparation of life. This mentorship will help you get there. What happens if we succeed? Artis asked quietly. If you succeed, we will send you to your colors for mentorship and training. Each of you, Artis and Leonora, will be taken on in an apprenticeship by a dragon rider of your color. Ola, Ora, and Amel will join another knot. And if we fail? Leonora sounded more nervous than I would have expected. The same penalty as always. You will join the ranks of servants. But I've only been sworn for a month. I'm not ready. What if I fail? See that you don't, Elphar snapped. You think you have a difficult time? Think of the initiates here, who have been with us scant weeks or months, while you have been with us for years. They are not more ready than you are. We desperately need more dragon riders. But the Dominar is correct. If war comes to us, we won't be able to expend our time teaching or training. War? Leonora said. I thought they were giving one of our high castlans to the Dark Prince to prevent that. Do you see Savette around here? Ola asked, her tone derisive. I see Starry Atrilin around here, and she looks like a child with a pocket full of sweets. Isn't she Savette's replacement? Enough, Grandise Elphar said. Continue your training. Do your work. Work like your lives depend on it, because it turns out that they might. Artis, it is your job to get Ola and Ora ready for the test. Leonora, it is your job to get Amel ready. What? Leonora said, her face painted in shock. You heard me, Caslin. Your job is to train her in etiquette, history, and as much lore as you can manage in the weeks ahead. How well she does will determine your final grade as a sworn. No! She looked positively green, and I shuffled my foot a bit. What if she failed because of me? Enough talk, Grandise Elphar said. Get to your work and show me I was right to depend on you. Except for you, Amel. I need a word with you. I followed her to the balcony at the side of the room. My crutch had been returned to me by Artis after the struggle. Bless her for her conscientiousness, and she carefully shut the door behind us so that we stood in the open air, unable to be overheard by those within the room. "I received both your messages," she said. "Your loyalty to your friend is touching, but believe me when I tell you that we are doing everything we can to recover Savette Ledris. Your assistance is not necessary. We appreciate your fervor that night in trying to recover your friend. How or why Lang's dragon agreed to carry you is a mystery. But I want to warn you again to stay away from other riders' dragons. You are not safe from them, and purples are notoriously unpredictable. Do they have any idea where to look for Savette?" She cleared her throat. "Like I said, this is dragon rider business, not the business of initiates. You should never have been involved in the dangerous mess of kidnapping her in the first place." "What about Savette? She was an initiate too. She should never have been there that night either. She should have been protected from all of this." I had another problem. Not as big as Savette, but close to as big. "Starry," I began, but Grandice Alphar cut me off. "I have interviewed Starry Atrilin myself, and she has a very different account of things than you do. Since Lang Shartson was ill at the time, it is your word against hers. For the present, I will judge neither of you. Prove yourself loyal, and we will say no more of it." "Wait," I said, stunned. "She's the reason that the rest of my knot died. You can't trust her." "I think I said that we would say no more of it. Did I not? Starry is as much a victim in all this as you are, and we are grateful to have her returned to us." What had Starry said to make Grandice Alphar trust her again? "You will show her respect as a fellow trainee and a High Castellan." I bowed my head, frustration biting deep into my belly. "I need to hear you say, 'Yes, Grandice.'" "Yes, Grandice," I mumbled, but I was not happy. Starry wasn't trustworthy. She had arranged for Savette's kidnapping, and now she was tricking them all. But if no one else could see it, then it was up to me to bring it into the open. "Good. Dismissed. I'm sure Leonora will have much for you to do." My heart sank as I realized that she was right about that. Leonora was going to be completely insufferable. Chapter 2. "And how do you greet a High Castellan?" Leonora asked, tailing me doggedly as I hobbled to the alcoves. With my hand to my heart, I was concentrating more on keeping my load from spilling than I was on what she was saying. It's hard to carry a kettle and climb up to dragon coats at the same time. Fist to heart. Be sure of this, Amel. I am not going to fail because of you. She wasn't going to fail, even if Grandice Alphar had said she was responsible for me. Leonora knew everything perfectly just 1 month into being sworn. "Let's try something in history. When was the Dominion founded?" "The 5th year of the Great Plague." The alcoves were quiet. No one was flying today except the guards. They'd been flying double shifts since Savette was taken, as if care now could make up for their earlier neglect. "Which was when?" "The year 240 by common reckoning." "Good. Now name the first Dominar." "Can we take a break for a moment?" We were at Raelkin's alcove, and I couldn't wait to give him his treat. She sighed. "Fine. I'm going to check on my dragon, but find me as soon as you are done here. We have to cram years of study into your head in just a few short weeks." I nodded and tried a timid smile, but Leonora was already gone. "She's an interesting one. I'd like to know her better." She was going to drive me crazy. Not that it was my biggest